reports from last year. Monday prior to they're doing this year with one I think so. What's that?
Yeah, 3 classes.
Oh, you know it.
You like going with here now? Oh. Aberdeen, Watertown.
Those towns need it though.
Watertown. It's not about those towns.
Here, man, get your belt changed. Yeah, it should be.
They have the facilities to host.
Here on George, I will agree with that. Watertown did a good job. Aberdeen does a good job.
Yeah, we can't get a room.
See if we get over there tomorrow. I may get.
Call this meeting to order Monday, November 19th. Roll call, please.
King.
Here.
Delaney.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Boone.
Here.
Schott.
Yes.
Swagen. Here. Anderson.
Here. Agenda was sent out on Saturday. Everyone got a copy of it. I appreciate Jerry doing that over the weekend.
I did most of the work on it. Didn't look at it.
Everybody as well.
Here's who's good job. Did you have one?
Oh, sorry.
Lane had something to add.
Yeah, she told me, I forgot. There's one thing to add under item number 12, fall plant and technology conference for Rob and Mitchell, December 3rd and 4th.
And with the executive, could you have pending litigation on that as well?
Any other additions?
Erickson moves to adopt the agenda as amended.
Shot second.
Motion made by Erickson, seconded by Schott to adopt the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. November 5th minutes were also sent out. There a motion to approve the minutes?
Kane moves to approve the minutes.
Swagen second.
Motion made by Kane, seconded by Swagen to approve the November 5th, 2018 minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I don't believe there's any public hearings. No visitors to be heard. First item, Todd Hanson, Beresford Cable Vision.
Should have received in your board packet a rate increase information for the cable vision and also the cable rates, and I've asked for the council to approve the rate increases as presented.
Erickson moves to approve resolution 2018-11.
Delina second.
Motion made by Erickson, seconded by Deline to approve resolution 2018-11. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next time. Finance officer.
Berglund and Post sent their typical letter of engagement letter to do the audit for 2018, and the price just went up $100. We just need a motion to approve me to sign the letter.
Should I make a motion for the finance officer, Elaine Johnson, to authorize the signed engagement letter for 2018 audit as stated?
Second.
Motion made by Schott, seconded by Swagen to authorize signing the engagement letter for the 2018 audit. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Beresford swimming pool, Kelly Knudsen.
Alright, so last year we did an early discount thing for family passes and season passes. Didn't quite get resolved until after the first of the year. I think we did it for like 4 months. I would like to see us this year do it December and January. So if people want to come in and get Christmas presents, I've got all the passes printed up, ready to see City Hall been nice enough to sell those out of City Hall for us. So, last year we did $100, so from 125 down to 100, and from 75 down to 65. Since we're shortening the time period that they can do that, I guess I don't have a huge problem with that. I had thought maybe a $15 discount on the family and a $10 discount on the individual, which would be 12 and 13% respectively. So from 125 down to 110, and from 75 down to 65 for individual. I was about 4,000 over in my part-time wages this year, so a little bit more coming in maybe isn't a bad thing.
What was the single rate, Kelly?
It's 75 ordinarily. I was proposing to get it down 13% down to 65 during those 2 months.
Okay, thank you.
It's bigger only 2 months, I guess.
Shall I make a motion for Beresford swimming pool Kelly Knudsen as stated for 2019 discounted season passes for December, January. 12% on the family pass, is that correct, for 125 down to 110?
Yep.
And then 13% on the individual from 75 down to 65?
Correct.
I appreciate that, sir. You have a great day. Thank you for your time and effort.
Kane second.
Motion made by Shaw, seconded by Kane to approve the 2019 discount season passes of $110 and $65. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Golf course committee report.
Just gonna pass this out. I know there's been some questions on the golf course, and our committee has been meeting a few times over the last few months. The first sheet that I gave you is the current structure that we have between the total parks, pool, and golf course. And on the bottom, I kind of put down what are the salaries of what were the 4 kind of supervisors, department heads, managers. And as we know, we've had Tony's left, so we have a position open at the golf course. And overall, our committee basically wants to see where we can look to cut expenses. On the second sheet I gave is really just a proposed kind of brainstorming idea that our committee has come up with. We would, welcome any input from the rest of the council. We don't really want to speak specific names on people in positions on the org chart that I handed out right now. Excuse me. But what this proposal would do would cut overall, and I just did for simplicity, I just took those 4 management positions, and it would save about $42,000. Now on the very bottom also, I kind of gave everybody just a snapshot of where it was from 17, 18, and then proposed, or the budgeted for 19. And I apologize, my number for 17 is, it's a $230,000 loss, but that has $105,000 of depreciation in there. So really operating was only $125,000 loss for 17. Year to date, it's a $101,000 loss and projected to be $125,000 to $150,000 loss. We've budgeted $183,000 loss, so we're actually ahead of budget, which is good. But our 2019 budget is $190,000 loss for the golf course, and so once again, our committee's one of our points is to hopefully reduce that cost by maybe restructuring how it's set up with employees and everything across both the parks, pool, and the golf course inside and outside to help facilitate that. So I guess if you want to take it with you, kind of study it, bring back any comments, suggestions, concerns.
This event coordinator position, she says, what is that?
Part-time, that's something we've just kind of, in an effort to maybe go to a one clubhouse event center manager. The event coordinator would be one that if somebody wants to hold an event there, a wedding, a family reunion or something, they would go to that person to first coordinate what their event's gonna be, how many people, what kind of, tables, linen, stuff like that they are gonna need, and if they need a bar set up, if we need to put them in contact with a caterer. That's one thing that we've kind of said we want to maybe step out of catering events just because of us trying to kind of restructure that, our employees out there. But it's really, our goal with that position, Tom, is it to be very part-time. It would be the person that our customer goes to, and then that person is gonna coordinate with other people at the golf course or part-time employees to get things set up. So we want that to be a part-time position.
Well, you've probably heard me state this before, but the clubhouse cannot operate with a solo manager. It was tried when it was first opened in 2013, and after 3 years, Mike said, I quit. This is tough. Okay, who's gonna help it?
Well, and that's where, what we're doing is trying to take from having, one person over at the parks and the pool and one person over, and then 2 people over at the golf course, to kind of bring it all together and have one, what they call it, director over all of it to help kind of coordinate. Because I think there is a lot of overlap that we could have with our parks people helping out at the golf course, or coordinating more of the inside golf events with the outdoor, what's going on. And so that, hopefully by having that one person at the top, and then that would take some of the responsibility off of the clubhouse event center manager. And then, this is kind of a working thing. We really don't know where we're gonna go with the food portion of it. When we go to, obviously we all know Mike is going to retire at some point in this next year. So when we go to advertise to hire this clubhouse and event center manager, we do want there to be some food experience preferred, is what we're gonna put in there. But the plan also is to hopefully just get some heavy part-time people. Just because overall the full-time salaries with benefits and everything is really where a lot of our expenses are coming from.
Okay. Now, there are 3 budgets out there, am I correct?
There are.
Event center, clubhouse, and then the outside grounds.
Mm-hmm.
The outside grounds are call it a fixed expense. I mean, you can't do without them.
Right.
Okay, so why are we cutting the only 2 parts that make money? They average $74,900 over the last 5 years per year. And now we're trying to reduce our abilities out there and capabilities.
Tom, I don't see it as us cutting just in the clubhouse. According to our proposed one, we actually are taking away some of the responsibilities of one person, and it's a shifting of some duties. And like I said, I don't want to get into specific names and people and duties right now, but that's our whole vision, is that we're going to shift some things around and actually cut from both sections to help make up this new structure.
And the one thing that we've talked about at length is we're probably not going to find somebody with Mike's skill set when it comes to catering. So we're probably going to look at getting out of catering and hiring the catering out to outside people. So we're not going to need them there making food. Because if we're going to get back into catering and doing what we're having Mike do, then we're going to end up right back into losing money where we were again to that $200,000. Because we're going to have to hire somebody full-time to do that.
I don't know, making changes to something that's working is kind of a mystery to me, I'm sorry. I appreciate your hard work in looking into this, and everything, but that's all I'll say for the time being.
Have you done any salary comparisons? Are you gonna be able to hire somebody for $40,000 to run the clubhouse? Have you checked out Point or Hayward or anywhere else what they're paying?
We haven't yet, but we've talked to some people
It's a
that,
pretty good assumption to get somebody to do that big a job for 40 grand.
It's just an estimate, because I mean, we're up,
Yeah, but you estimated it down $5,000.
but Tony was getting 37 and Mike's getting 45, so what we did is just kind of took an in-between, because Mike's has been growing year over year with his annual increases. So if you bring it back down to a starting position, and no, we don't know that we're gonna get down to 40,000, that may be 45,000. These are really just estimates. We don't know exactly where this is gonna end up.
And I think you kind of building on what Tom was talking about. If you look at the heart and soul of what happens at the bridges outside of the Gulf, the outside part of it, it's food. So why wouldn't your manager have that restaurant experience? Which would then fold right into what Mike's doing now.
well, that's what we're gonna try and do.
Haven't you just
But
said you're gonna
even-
eliminate catering?
Even talking to
Yeah.
Mike, he says he doesn't think that we could do that.
You know, I know there's a group out there tonight. Right here local. They wouldn't be here if they didn't have that particular situation where he could cater food for them.
Right, so then we're gonna have to find somebody, like I said, with Mike's skill set to do that. And I don't know if we're gonna, that's gonna be a harder sell than finding a clubhouse manager.
Clubhouse management's taking tea times and, I'm not trying to simplify it, but it's not huge. You know, it's
Right.
managing things that are going on inside in the bar, et cetera, but the big part of it is the food that you can offer to a small group, large group, whatever. You know, I think you need to
Well,
keep
that's
that
where
in
the-
mind.
That's where the city's losing its money though, too.
No, we're losing money on the outside budget.
Yeah, but the money on the inside doesn't show up unless the outside money is spent. So you can't really chastise the money that we spend to maintain the course and the condition that it's in. Because without every dollar or close to every dollar spent there, very few people would show up to golf. Very few people would show up to spend money on the inside. So
Mr. Mayor, may I remind you of ordinance 1.0203 and 1.0207. 1.203 states that you will uphold all the ordinances and everything of Beresford, all the laws, constitutions, just like your own. And also, 207 states that we will follow Robert's Rules of Order. And that means the chair does not enter council discussion. I'm sorry, but
okay.
that's the law that you swore to uphold. Now, unless we make changes to that, that's the way it is now. I'm not trying to shut you down, I just want you to be aware. But we do have a method of decor, and that's it.
Okay.
That's a point though that I was just going to make, is that we cannot have the inside operations without the outside operations. People don't come to golf if we don't have a good golf course. So we have to spend the money outside to get people inside. That's why we're trying to, and I'm not saying that this is how it's going to be, that this has to be. I mean, we brought it as a proposed idea. We welcome any feedback. But we just feel like we've got to do something to get these also to be working more together, because they do piggyback off each other. The outside and the inside have to work together. And I'd like to start seeing them more as one versus two different, three different. I guess if, yeah, like I said, why don't, if you guys think about it, if you have other ideas on how we can try to make it more efficient and makes, you know, not lose as much money. We know we're not going to bring this around to be making money, but if you you know, the other three council members, if you could come bring to our committee some ideas that you might have, you know, that'd be great. So that's all I have on the golf course.
Any other comments? Next item on the agenda, part-time hire at the Bridges Golf Course and Event Center.
I'll speak on that one as well. Last meeting, it was put on the agenda to hire Tony at, I can't remember, it was at $11 for bartending and $15 for event setup. It just, parts of that kind of threw me off, and I'm like, wait a second, we can't be paying people this. Our committee met with Mike the very next day and had actually a very good conversation with Mike and found out really what he is wanting to have Tony part-time for is more of a assistant manager position out there. So when when Mike is gone, Tony's his fill-in, Tony's his backup. We told him we don't want Tony bartending. Like, that's not something we can hire part-time bartenders at lower rates. So I guess the committee, after meeting with Mike, wants to propose to hire Tony at $15 an hour for assistant golf course manager or golf event
Assistant
clubhouse manager.
whatever Mike's title is.
Assistant manager for Mike at $15 an hour.
And do deposits and count the cash.
Yeah.
And do the deposits and count the cash.
So I can make a motion to hire Tony for $15 an hour for assistant manager at golf course.
Pearson, second.
Motion made by Svagen, seconded by Erickson to approve the hiring of Tony as golf course assistant at the rate of $15 an hour. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business, hiring of a full-time police officer.
Well, we're not getting a whole lot of applications again. I do have a part-time officer, Austin Van Horn, who's put in for a full-time position as of now. And, I'd like to hire him at $18.98 an hour if I can do so. He started, May 17th as a part-time officer.
Is he certified?
Yeah.
Shall I make a motion, full-time hire police officer at $18.98, as Larry Christensen stated?
Motion made by Schott, seconded by Svagen to approve the hiring of Austin's last name?
Van Horn.
Van Horn, at the rate of $18.98 per hour. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Part-time hire librarian.
We just wanted to bring our part-time co-librarian position, children's librarian position. We advertised, I had come to the council and, received the okay to go ahead and advertise and hire someone at $13.50 an hour, so. I got several applications, interviewed 3 different people, and I would recommend that Sasha Huther is hired for the position.
Shall I make a motion for part-time hire Cole children's librarian at the library, as Jane stated, for $13.50 an hour?
Billy, a second.
Motion made by Schott, seconded by Deline to approve the hiring of Sasha Kuker at the rate of $13.50 per hour. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Nomination for Bedco. I'd like to renominate Milton Newstead for another term on the Bedco board.
Billy moves to approve nomination to let go of Milton Newstead.
Shall I second?
Is that a 5-year term?
Yeah, that is.
5 years.
Motion made by Deline, seconded by Schott to approve the appointment of Milton Newstead to the Bedco board. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Authorized to advertise for Bridges Clubhouse manager.
Kind of goes with what we presented in our committee report, that we want to start advertising now and hold it open until the end of January for a clubhouse event center manager. Like I said, we have not received a deadline or a date from Mike on when he will retire, but we do know he will, and so we'd like to have a new person or have a person in place March 1st to start training and getting ready for the golf season.
Erickson moves to authorize for the advertisement for a clubhouse manager.
Second.
Motion made by Erickson, seconded by Schott to authorize the advertisement for the Bridges clubhouse manager. Any further discussion?
I think we should probably table it if, we got some people that aren't very happy with how the golf course discussions are going. And wait till at least the next meeting.
Mr. Mayor? I think this is a position that needs to be filled one way or the other. Regardless of how the structure is, we still need an event center manager and clubhouse manager.
Well, when we did the restructuring for the PMTC, I know we didn't want to do anything until we had titles and duties and all that stuff taken care of. Is it okay in this course then?
But you're not changing the title, actually, you're still gonna have a clubhouse manager regardless.
Well, is that?
The only question I've got is, are you gonna advertise it at 40,000?
Well, I guess there's too many questions because we don't even know how we're gonna organize this now.
I would think that we would advertise at a range.
DOE has an experience.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess as long as the council is okay with advertising without having a approved work chart in place. I mean, there's not really one
We didn't do it
formal
for
org chart to
PMTC.
begin
Why is it
with,
on the agenda? Erickson withdraws the motion.
Should I table it till?
Motion to table, so.
That's what I would suggest we do.
I think we need to get it out.
Well, can I guess as the golf course committee, can we ask that the other three give us your thoughts on how it should be structured, and we can bring it back and maybe get a org chart approved and then authorize hiring up for advertisement for this position the next meeting?
I think that's an outstanding idea.
The way I see it, I mean, sooner or later, we're gonna have to hire a full-time manager, because we all know that, our current manager is set to retire. So I think that it's time to start advertising. That's my personal thought.
I'd be fine with advertising for this because part of my feelings too is that we hire and we bring somebody new in. They may have ideas and things that we aren't thinking about. They may just say, no, I don't need another manager here, let's do it this way. I mean, who are we to necessarily set the structure of something when we don't even know the manager that we're going to be putting in that position and their skill set?
They might have different ideas.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. You still don't wanna advertise for it without.
Well, I think it would be really nice to have all this said and be in agreement with the whole city council. And before we move on with it.
I think we all agree that our current manager hasn't set a date, but we know it's gonna come. So I guess I'm with Teresa. I like the idea of advertising, and if we can interview 2 or 3, maybe we pick somebody that has some great ideas that can come to us, or start with the committee members first, is what I see, but and then come to us with their ideas of how they wanna see this. It's hard for changes, but if somebody younger has an idea, I think we need to embrace what they're thinking and consider that.
And I know our committee had talked about the proposed org chart would not even really get put into place or practice until a new person was in place, because we wanted to, you know, get their input, see what their capabilities are.
That's a good idea.
Well, you made a comment, Troy, the whole committee, the whole council, okay, so far heard from Gerald, heard from you, we heard from Tom, you heard from her, and the only one I don't hear is Steve, so if he agrees, then we all agree.
The only concern I've got is what are you gonna put in the job description? I mean, what's gonna attract them to apply for the job? Is it gonna say something like, you know, restaurant experience desired, or
I think that's what Teresa said earlier.
signing up tea times desired?
No, I think Teresa said earlier that restaurant experience would be preferred. So,
Well, if that's in the ad,
mhm.
I can live with it, but I wanna know what our expectations are of them.
Oh, I agree.
You can get just about anybody to apply to do some of it.
Didn't we kind of go over some of that, about like the restaurant stuff and
The one thing we don't have is we don't have a job description for this position that we are looking to hire for. So, do we try to hire using Mike's current job description? Do we have a current job description for clubhouse manager? I think if we start with clubhouse manager, that person can
Yeah, talk too much.
expand off of it.
You know where I stand, we need to replace it.
So we have one motion to table. Do we wanna rethink that and have a motion to approve?
Nobody seconds it, and I think that's.
No second for a motion to table?
I will move again to
Still on
authorize,
the motion would still be there, man.
still there.
I withdrew it.
And nobody's
I don't think anybody seconded
seconded
it.
to what?
No, I withdrew my motion.
Did the seconder agree?
The seconder, there was.
It was never seconded.
Oh. Okay, so can he restate his motion?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I thought it had been seconded.
Okay, I move to move to advertise for Beresford Clubhouse Manager.
Shot second.
All right, motion made by Erickson, seconded by Schott to approve the advertisement of the Bridges Clubhouse Manager. Any further discussion?
I think we do need to put a pay scale in there, or a pay, starting pay, I guess, 40 to 45,000, do we not need to put? You're shaking your head no, I didn't know if we needed to put,
You want to put DOE, depends on experience. I mean,
but
I agree with Art,
I think we're gonna get more applications.
it's gonna depend on the level of experience that the applicant has. And you can set a range, starting pay up to X number of dollars, based on experience.
do we wanna set that range, or?
I think it needs to be in the ad. I think the other thing that needs to be in the ad is just we talked about advertising until January 31st. So Delene would amend the motion on the table to add that advertising would be until January 31st of 2019, as well as some sort of statement in the advertisement of starting and depending on experience. So do we want to put 45,000?
40 to 45.
40 to 45,000,
Depending on-
depending on experience.
Erickson second the motion for amendment.
Okay, motion was made by Erickson and Schott Gerald, you added a motion or an amendment.
So which one do we vote on?
Yeah, you vote on the
You
amendment.
gotta vote the amendment.
You vote the
You
amendment.
vote on the Deline amendment,
Okay.
and then you go back to Erickson's motion and amend it, if that passes.
Okay.
Or either way you do, I guess.
All in favor of the amendment by Gerald Deline to state the salary range and the advertisement through January 31st? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Back to the original motion, which was made by Erickson, seconded by Schott, to approve the authorization for advertising the Bridges Courthouse Manager. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approval of the animal control contract with the Sioux Falls Humane Society.
I don't think this one's quite as exciting, but it's fairly long and depth, but I think the biggest thing is that Larry, you're here, we don't use it very often. They charge us $43 an hour, plus mileage to come down here if we call them, and then there's some other fees, typically $12.50 a night boarding fees, so. Anyhow, anything else on that?
Normally
We just have to have some operations in the event that we actually catch a few and have to haul them to Sioux Falls. We obviously, we try not to, motion to approve.
Shall I make a motion to approve the animal control contract from Sioux Falls Humane Society as Jerry Simon stated?
Delino second.
Motion made by Schott, seconded by Deline, to approve the animal control contract with the Sioux Falls Humane Society. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2018 water tower budget to move $50,000 to reserves for use in 2019.
Elaine, you wanna do that one?
Hi, Bright and I have been visiting, and with the water tower going out for specs, he has requested to move the $50,000 budgeted amount for 2018 to put it into reserves to use it for 2019.
Shall I make a motion to approve the 2018 amendment for the water tower budget of $50,000 to reserves to use for 2019 as Elaine Johnson stated for the street department?
Motion made by Schott, seconded by Stanger to approve transfer of $50,000 to reserves for use in 2019. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of 2018 amendment to modify the asphalt surface treatment contract with Road Guy Construction Company.
Want me to do that one?
Yeah.
Last meeting, there was discussion about the fact that the road guy was unable with weather to get the chip sealing done this year. And so they've delivered about $22,000 of the chip seal. The budget for 2018 was, or the bid for 2018 was about $69,000. So the balance of that will get carried forward to next year. And so the work is supposed to be done as soon as they get full on there, and then the top of the list instead of the end of this year's list. And then you'll see in the next contract that's there that there'll be a contract for no more than $50,000 for 2019 seal coating. They're separate contracts, so we'll fulfill the 18 by extending the work completion date into 19. And then there'll be a separate contract for up to $50,000, which keeps you in the budget for 2019 work.
The contract this year for 18 was 50,000,
It was 69,000 was the bid.
that's what was left, but there was 50 in the budget for it.
Well, but it was authorized up to 69 in the bid when they accepted the bid, so you'll end up with 120,000 worth of work between the two.
Okay.
You would have to supplement this year's budget to get up to the 69 that was approved when the bids were let, so.
Okay with that, Jeff?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Shall I make a motion to approve the 2018 amendment to asphalt surface treatment contract with the Road Guy Construction Company as Tom Freeberg stated?
Delino second.
Motion made by Schott, seconded by Deline to approve the 2018 amendment for the asphalt surface treatment contract. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approved 2019 asphalt surface treatment contract.
that'll be up to, not to exceed 50,000 then, so you're under the bid limits for that. And they agreed to honor the 2018 pricing for 2019 work, so.
Julie makes a motion to approve the 2019 asphalt surface treatment contract of a maximum of 50,000.
Kane second.
Motion made by Delane, seconded by Kane to approve the 2019 asphalt surface treatment contract of $50,000. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Construction site for new substation.
I don't.
The first proposal we had was in, you can see it's in section 28. Where we were gonna put the substation. We did talk to that landowner and wanted quite a bit for his property there. So I've been in contact with the person that owns 26th, which would be right in the southwest corner of that section 26 there. And I do have a proposal, but I think I'd like to go in a kind of executive session to talk about the prices on that. But the rest of this map, up in the upper right-hand corner, you see the blue square. That's the existing WAPA substation there. And the red line is the proposed new 115 line, which comes out the east and goes north there to the Senegal Hudson Road, and then comes back south down Old Highway 77. And then there's also a line that runs from where it says proposed substation site, runs back to the west and ties into our existing substation north of Casey's. But I guess the site we're kind of looking at and need to kind of get the location kind of pinpointed here so the engineering can finish the paperwork for the federal government, because we need to have this site put in the paperwork for the federal government. So, but I guess as far as the dollar amounts and stuff, and I guess I would rather talk about that in executive session if we could.
How many acres are we talking, Jay?
The engineer was talking about 3 acres. I'd like to have 4, because I would like to eventually, on the out boundary around it, kind of put some evergreens and stuff so we can kind of hide it if there's any future development, you know, get away from it. And you don't like to plant trees too close in case you get wind or something and topple them into the substation. So I would like to get 4 acres.
What's the time if we don't get land, that it starts to set the budget back?
There's like filings that they have to do to get permitting and stuff to start the transmission line portion of it. And without the exact location of where the new substation is gonna go, we can't file that paperwork. You can't just say general vicinity. We're supposed to have the property earmarked, I guess, so.
Weeks, months?
Oh, I suppose by the end of the year, January in that area.
Anything other than price that people have questions, concerns, comments?
You want to talk contract negotiations and proprietary stuff in the executive then? Okay.
Do I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss proprietary?
Boom, so moved.
Motion made by Booth, seconded by Schott to enter into executive session for proprietary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah, that's what we read the minutes before Jay gets to them.
Why?
I said, our minutes will probably be done before you get a chance to talk, so.
Do we need a motion on the construction site for substation at all?
We don't need a motion on that one, we're just talking about how we're doing.
We're gonna adjust the, agenda just slightly. We're gonna we're looking for a motion to go back into executive session to discuss, pending litigation.
Do we move to go back into executive session?
Shot second.
Motion made by Delaney, seconded by Schott. All in favor, say aye.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, thank you guys very much.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, next item on the agenda, discussional information. This is a reminder of the Rethink Beresford meeting, which will be held 7:30 a.m. December 7th at the Bridges. This is where they're gonna put a big push for the website that they've been working on and some of the plans of the Rethink Beresford committee, which is kind of a mixture of Chamber of Commerce and interested parties within Beresford. So I would encourage you to attend that. Just kind of one other informational item about the turkey plant.
Sure.
The turkey plant is hosting their grand opening on Tuesday, November 27th. And it's at 1 o'clock. And I think it's scheduled to last approximately 2 hours, maybe 3.
1 to 4, I think.
1 to
what they
4.
say. I think.
So at 1 o'clock, they're gonna do about a 20 or 30-minute speeches, etc. Then they're gonna do a tour of the facility for the community in groups. And the council is encouraged to come, the whole town is encouraged to come. I'm not sure if you have to take a shower to go in there or not, but they do have eggs, so be prepared for anything. So.
If nothing else, getting on their website and RSVPing is very interesting. It shows you what a high-class operation this is. I mean, they give you very clear directions on how to RSVP, and it looks, I'm excited to see what's going on.
They've got staff coming from, what's it, the Netherlands, I think.
Officials, yeah, drugs and stuff.
Do you have to make a reservation, or can you just show up?
You should reserve it. You should just go on their website, or.
Yeah, at 3:15, that's the best I can do.
There's not a set time, you can't like,
No, you
you
just
can't sign up for a
RSVP.
time, you just
Oh,
RSVP.
okay.
There's times that I had to count.
I'll be in the morning.
I'm trying to figure out how much food they have, so.
All right, I'll be in the
You
morning.
better RSVP too.
The final item, or 2 items.
It's 3:15.
Fall plant tech conference for Rob in Mitchell, December 3rd and 4th, under travel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, and do I have a motion to pay the bills?
He knows to pay the bills.
Motion by Kane, seconded by Erickson to pay the bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Meeting adjourned.